I am Gigs, and I'm here with Tyrnek again, and we're casting the second round of the Wargame Casual Tourney, Marco Polo 2 Electric Boogaloo,
Hello.
and
All
I
right.
have I have quieted Tyrnek's mic, so he is not as loud, and so we have Equation versus Balfet, and both are decently ranked. I mean, so yeah.
What's with that tone? It sounds like you're trying to ASMR me asleep or something. That just
I
talk like your normal autistic self.
ooh, do you want that? Like, I don't think you want that. Like,
That's why people have subscribed to you. You can talk. You don't have to
big
be all
fig.
like Bob Ross here, but you know.
Let's draw some beautiful little super Calebs.
Oh my God.
So
There aren't any rushes. There are just happy spawn pushes.
they're just happy spawn pushes. It's not a
All
hero
right.
rush. That's just a beautiful little Mi-24.
Indeed. So, without further ado, we have Equation playing as Japan and Balfei, or however you pronounce that, playing as China. Kojan doesn't seem to have deployed too much, so let's go over and see what the Chinese player is deploying at the moment.
Balfei's looking like he's doing his standard thing.
Looks pretty standard. Can you I'm not so it looks like he's going to push to the map's right side, which is pretty standard, opening up with two supers and a bunch of infantry, um, holding infantry for the left side and stuff in Bravo. It's a little annoying being China actually from this side in Bravo, just because in that little line of cities in Bravo, the left-hand side, usually what happens is one of the players sticks a ATGM squad in there to cut off reinforcements going down the road from Charlie. But since China doesn't have one, the best you can do is either nothing or Hankashasho. And that's
And
not,
that won't
it's
even
kind of a,
get across the canal.
yeah, so it's not superb for China. It's not a big problem because Bravo is still really easy to hold. It's just a little thing that they miss out on.
Yeah, so we're starting at two command units here. There's two CVs for Balfei, so he's going to
Right.
be playing more conservative and preparing himself for possible cheese.
Yeah, same thing with equation here.
We got
Equation has been started.
two of the Shiki G's, so that's going to be
Shiki G's. Yeah, those are the 60.1s. They have the special kind of revolver cannon. The burst one fires three bursts really quick, or three shots in a burst very quickly, rather. And it also has a grenade launcher on top. Some people really like this tank. My problem with it is just it has such low
paper
armor
mache.
for having.
It
Yeah,
dies
it
so
has
fast.
such the low armor really, really hurts it as a fire support tank.
I mean, an
Like if you
8x10
are
looks at
lucky.
you the wrong way and you're dead.
Yeah, but actually, playing at close range with that thing is usually going to not end very well if you go up against anything with like Rima or even Fusiliers 90, because 22 heat, one shots, 8 armor. And that's assuming it's front
Ooh, we
armor.
got Shiki A's down here as well.
Oh,
That's a
that's an
very
interesting
that's a
choice.
not very often used tank. So the problem is over here in golf, you're gonna have two Shiki A's and some infantry going against a lot of infantry and ZTZ 88s. It looks like or 85s.
85 threes, I believe.
Yeah, 85 threes, but still pretty formidable tank. Another interesting thing here is you have no Qmar Shikis on the map yet.
Right. And pretty heavy reliance on gun tanks as AA. That's not exactly the worst thing, just because gun tanks, they have decent DPS. They're arguably better versus stuff like J7H spam than something like short arrows or hawks or closed arrows are. The main issue I have with the gun tank,
Look at this. Belfay forgot to
oh,
he's got to
he
drop his
forgot to load his CV. That's a
So
bit
he's
of a
giving him a +3
bummer.
tick right now, and we'll see how long it takes before Balfay realizes that. Oh crap!
He can't
I don't.
call in any units.
Yeah, you can't call in any units, or anything. That's a pretty.
So it's interesting how defensive equation is going in Charlie. It almost as if he was expecting a Charlie push, as
Yeah,
in
But the more and more ranked you play, and the more and more you play against like good players, you're almost always gonna end up fighting over golf over here.
Not necessarily, actually. Just because the Charlie push is such a strong push, the way that the highways are laid out on this map, it really, really does favor the alpha
It's
spawn in
routing.
terms of motor pushing. That is not something you see very
Yeah, you
often.
don't
That
really
is the
see it.
power of grenade launchers, my friends.
Oh, that's a
Okay, so
huge blob of Zanshi.
interesting.
Oh, not a Sunshiki gets side shot. Well, anyway, it's dead with a ZTZ.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if it gets side shot or front shot because it has one side, one armor all around, so it doesn't really matter.
It's paper.
Chiki Hachinana, interesting.
Hachinana Shiki is getting some flank action going on over against the ZTZ Recon infantry.
I think we can bump this up to 2 times speed. All right.
These tanks are just absolutely annihilated. And the Shiki A's are going to try for a side shot here, but he has no recon, so...
Well, not only that, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, the 99 Shikies, those are really only good for fire support. You can't go up against the 85 3s with those things. It's just not going to work.
And everyone's coming in. Does some good damage.
Really good damage. Balfoy sort of missed the trick by trying to push his Jansha all into the one narrow forest. It would have been better if he had spread them out a little wider and tried to push on a broader front.
They died way too easily.
Yeah. Oh, that Hachinana open Bravo is took out a couple of Tankashasho transports and now it's just going back in and out. Interesting. Right. Yeah, interestingly enough, it seems that that F1 strike allowed Balfei. Well, he forced Balfei back simply because he no longer has any screening infantry to do anything. Of course, the Equation has the opposite problem. He has a bunch of infantry, but doesn't really have anything. And now we have a Q5Z in response, and basically the same thing happens. So we're basically just trading infantry back and forth at this point.
Let's see who will buy the next command vehicle. Oh, got some Lyrens coming to flank back here.
Fucking never say Rens to me ever again.
What is it?
It's pronounced Liège.
Liège? Sorry, I am
close enough.
busy.
Fucking close enough. Jesus Christ.
Interesting command unit place here. So now Equation's ticking on him even more, so he's either forced to CV up in Bravo or try to negate the CV in Golf or put one in Foxtrot.
I would almost argue that, and forgive me for potentially saying something that no one understands, or at least no one who doesn't watch any high, quote-unquote, high-level wargame players understands, but I feel like that was a Firestarter level mistake right there. Just because, in terms of material, Equation doesn't have any sort of heavy tanks. He doesn't have any sort of holding presence whatsoever. I mean, he has gun tanks and he has Hechikai Shikis. Right now, the heaviest thing he has on the field, as far as I can see, is a Neneon Shiki G. And calling that heavy is...
he had a Neneon Shiki G. It is now dead.
Was ambitious at best.
Yeah.
He's not playing a Motoro mech deck because he has Hechikaius and Kyorukus. So
Kier Hark, interesting. So instead of getting a heavy tank or anything to hold the ground that he has, he's now about to probably get pushed out of Golf pretty hard here if Balflame plays this correctly.
True, although if you notice, the 85 figures are actually not in a position to support any of his infantry, so he may just wind up feeding these Jansha to the Seoju Buntai, just because at this point the infantry strength for Japan is a lot higher, just because you have the Kyorukus, which are really nice. So that is a good move with the ZTQ, I will admit. Getting into that position to just get some decent shots. It's really tough, that little forest to push as from a poison side. Oof, yeah. Great. Well, not exactly. There's the F1.
Got a push coming up the middle too. As well. Slow it down
You don't need to slow it down. Not too much is happening.
So it's a pretty good push in the middle.
Yeah, he was able to overwhelm the defenses there. Hachikai Shikis were the heaviest thing that were there, so they were able to just bully the single squad of Liaison that was there.
Yeah, the WZ 551s.
ZTZ 85s not getting smoked off. I realize that Japan doesn't really have any heavy anti-tank air units, but still, it's the thought that counts. Especially since Equation has not called out a single Q Maru yet, so there's
Yeah.
always the risk that he gets blown out by something like that.
Or left one. It's a
I think only
huge
one bomb dropped for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, now they all drop. Now they jump.
Only
Oh,
loses
SK.
one.
Yeah, good trade for the Japan. No, bad trade for the Japan player. He's only driven off onto the 85 race. Although he should really pull it back, give it some smoke, and buy some more supplies for it. F4EJ, and F4EJ takes down this 27 SK because it was not microed correctly. That is a painful loss, actually.
Cause that F4 EJ. Ooh. Just saying that, I feel dirty.
Spicy.
Ooh. Oh my god!
Yeah, I was waiting for that to happen.
Don't clump
Honestly,
your infantry against China.
well, that's just why you don't clump your infantry. Period. Yeah, we've seen a lot of really good bombing strikes this game, both from Japan and from China, just simply because they seem to be bunching up their infantry a lot. And now we see
One after
Balfei.
one strike is going to do some damage here.
Right, but now see Balfei is actually
Ooh.
disadvantaged. Ooh, that's
That was
quite nice.
sneaky.
Oh, but it's not on attack mode, so they're just gonna get bursted down by the Hachikaya. Still, it forced them to unload.
Oh,
Yeah.
he didn't see the CV though.
No, he didn't. So that was
Now he
good TV
does.
placement.
Now he does.
It's not gonna do him a whole lot of good at this point now, but
Hachikyoshi
yeah.
is driving to
Up.
us. Actually, it's doing pretty damn good.
The only thing there that can threaten it is the ZTQs and the Shasha, and neither of those things are in a position to actually start dealing with the Hachikayu. And as I say that, it blows up, so never mind then.
Balfei's CV.
It seems like Balfei forgot he has heavy tanks, and
Yeah,
oh no,
just
one of them is no, one of them was
Firestarter
repairing.
was
Okay, so he
screeching.
was using the not Firestarter, Faust.
Or Faust. Faust needs it.
Although Faust would be screeching even more at the fact that Equation has not called out a single Q Maru this entire game.
Yeah, like you have the most broken unit in this engagement. Comparatively.
Well, you have the strongest tank, but you're not using it. It seems more like he's relying on Nanion Shiki-Gs.
Yeah,
and
and he's also
I don't know about that.
using F1s to try to kill tanks.
Yeah.
So now Balfei's gonna have a +2 on him, probably.
Yeah. And you see what I meant by Firestarter thing, right? The joke is that Firestarter buys CVs too early.
Mhm.
CVs are a big points investment, which means that the points that you spend on a CV is points that you didn't spend on a tank or
So
AA
you
or
can't defend
literally anything else. And yeah, instead of buying CV, Balfei made the correct move. He bought a bunch of stuff to just completely push the Japan player out. And now that the Japan player has lost all of the forests, actually, in the bottom part of Gaul, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to get back in.
It's almost impossible to get an enemy
Yeah.
when they're at that.
Well, he's not. Actually, he is pretty entrenched at this point. He has HQ7s, he has the 85-3s, he has the SK up. This is looking very good for
And
Balfei.
there's nothing that can touch that ZCZ.
Yeah, the ZTZ, at least at the moment.
And now he can push in a Foxtrot and do whatever he pleases with.
Right. If I had any kind of criticism of Balfei at the moment, it's that he's perhaps a little too focused on pushing through golf. And, well, he is kind of exploring the Foxtrot, but he should try and probe. He should try and launch an attack from the top. And as I say that, his ATQ starts moving, so I guess he's starting to expand
And there's
his
nothing defending
expand a
Charlie.
little bit more.
Absolutely nothing
Yeah.
defending Charlie.
Right.
And where's this Hayate going? Is that gonna go towards Bravo? It is gonna go towards
Looks
Bravo.
like it. Don't know if that's the right move, but
Yeah,
it's really the only place that he
it's
can put his CV.
the gun tank is. Is he gonna snipe the gun tank with a Q5?
Seems like it. Oh, oh man.
I think the correct term is get memed on.
Yeah,
This is not
at this
looking
point,
good.
this is Ballface game, and I think
The
Equation's
only
going
way you
to
lose
put in the
this
GG at this.
is completely just like falling apart.
The only way you lose this is to turn off your brain and for
Or
Equation to
just
buy
pull out your
literally
Ethernet
nothing but
cable.
Cobras.
Pull out the Ethernet cable. An interesting
Yeah,
thing was
something like that.
Equation's a captain.
Well, rank doesn't matter.
You're a captain too. Big think.
What are you implying?
Nothing.
What are you
You
implying,
got that?
Sergeant Major?
I am a second lieutenant now. Thank you very much.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Sayate is just cruising to his doom. Yeah, this game is just
Cruising for
over.
Cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
No,
this
I
point,
would say the tipping point was when he bought that early CV and didn't reinforce his position because he had a
there
positional advantage
were,
there. He had
there
pushed the
were,
heavies back and he was doing pretty well.
I don't know if I say he had positional advantage. At that point, I would have said he was fighting to a standstill. Like, it was anyone's game at that point. Well, in terms of position, in terms of units, it was simply a matter of time before China pushed out Japan completely just because China had the tank superiority. And actually, at certain points, China just had tanks, period, because
And
Japan had lost all
period
theirs.
superiority. I mean, he had everything going for him at that point.
Yeah. And another problem that, well, I guess the real nail in the coffin happened when that one J7 strike
Killed everything.
wiped out the entirety of the defensive forces for Japan.
Yep. That was
Having that,
like, what,
yeah,
80 points in one J7 strike? It paid for itself just with that.
I mean, and even more so than the points, the opportunity that it created, like it wiped out all the defensive units. And at that point, China was able to make a huge amount of ground extremely quickly, simply because there was nothing left. All the defensive infantry and stuff there was annihilated in that single bomb, which also speaks to how you really, really, really don't want to bunch up units that densely, especially in a forest that is perfectly sized for a bombing run, MLRS strike, a burrito, something like that. You don't want to suddenly, you don't want to get blown out like that by a single 80-point plane. Not something that can be afforded. All
Yep.
right,
You're going to have a
next
bad.
game. Yeah, next game again.
Yeah, again.
This map again. Okay, we have Elky Ninja 2 versus Cooks 90.
Good old Cux
Looks like
90.
Cooks is playing China again. Elky Ninja is playing Japan. So let's put this on 2 times speed.
Take a sip of my vodka tonic.
A sip. Is
A
that what you
large
call it?
gulp. That was more
Okay.
vodka than tonic. This is what happens. You
Interesting.
play Wargame long enough, you drink quite a lot.
So, is there a reason you're drinking the Russian alcohol instead of something
Well,
more?
I'm a large part of me is Czech, so it's normal. We used to be
But Czechs,
subjugated by the
well,
Russian.
I guess that's fair. Czechs kind of drink everything. They just drink, period.
It's like the trifecta. You're close enough to Italy to have good wine. You're well, you were a former Russian
Anyways,
state.
okay, so let's go into these openers a little bit. Nanasan's Hachikayu's
No
Nayashiki-ji. It looks
Kiyomura.
like he's going somewhat defensive on the left.
Yeah.
I
Oh, there
saw,
is a
yeah,
Kiyomura.
yeah.
We got a Kiyomura.
Looks like he's going for the 2-point push. There's no reason to have a Kiyomaro on that side
Yeah.
any
You
for any
push
other
that
reason.
Kiyomura straight up that street. Kill everything.
Right, but it actually looks like Cux 90 might be having a similar sort of idea. He's going
Yeah,
fairly
it looks like
relatively
both of
light on the
them.
left and a little heavier on
Actually,
the
we might see a
center.
Bravo push. Nah, it looks like we are going to
I
see
doubt it.
a Foxtrot Charlie showdown here.
Yeah, that's
And he even talks to
unusual.
himself. He says, push, hold, hold. That's kind of
Right.
odd. Let's see how how this engagement
Ooh, he
goes.
needs to get that Q-Maru engaging as soon as he
It
can.
needs to be killing stuff. Oh, Buffett.
Ooh, yeah,
Cox
that's
smoked him off. It's very
yeah,
smart. Now he
that
has no
yeah,
recon, nothing. He's
excellent
blind.
smoke. Yeah.
It's really good smoke.
Wait, I thought the rest of his infantry was gonna go. Oh, I think LQ Ninja
Oh no.
misdeployed his stuff, and that's bad. Oof. Oh, and I think
We
this is
got a
got me.
slaughter is going down over here. Oh my god.
Oh, the humanity. Oh,
Like the gun tank
no.
fire support.
But it's just shooting at the UBE.
Yeah, shoot at the tank, shoot at Tanke, something.
I don't think he can see the tank. He doesn't have any recon on that
He
column.
has no recon. He's about to have a nice little surprise right in the middle.
Oh wow, yeah, this is oof. Oh, and Cox 90 made a really good move when he saw the Q Maru there. Diverted his WZ-551s across the river, smoking them off with the smoke. Yeah, that's some really good smoke usage. Basically, just denying the enemy the ability.
He is taking some hits from the Chuman, but he's causing panic.
Right, and now he has WZ-551s just marauding through his back lines.
We got the panic helicopters coming out, and we got a Rensu 106 millimeter. So the Q-Maru about to get ass shot.
Rear shot. Oh no, ZTQ is in the wrong position.
ZTQ is moving.
He realizes it. He's trying to get it. He's trying to get it. Sweet shot up that ass.
Yeah, you see some pretty dang side shots, but you might.
You rarely get rear shots.
You really get a rear shot, especially on the Q-Maru.
Right. Once it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. Maybe go to 2x speed right now.
Yeah, because this is
okay. Zoom out a little bit. Ooh, TY-90 too. Oh wow, that's gonna shut down. That's gonna shut down the panic helicopter.
Yeah, the panic helo is now panicking in the river.
Yeah, he's advancing with the Q-Maru, which is a little bit risky.
It's got no meat shield in front of it. Oh, it does take out the ZTZ.
Well, of course it would. It's a super heavy.
It's in trouble now.
Yeah.
And it's dead.
Now what's he gonna do? Yeah.
And he's gone.
Literally nothing he could have done besides maybe smoke. But even then,
this
the Genesha would have been coming in.
game though, so buckle your seatbelts. I don't know.
At this point, it's pretty definitively Ninja's game. Sorry, not Ninja's game. Cox's game.
Got a 4x here because.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5x. Why not? That's a lot of x's. I mean, this is Cuck's game to lose. Like he has to really, really throw stuff away to lose.
Right. And if you noticed, as soon as his most recent buys were HQ61A and a BM24. And this kind of stuff makes sense because he's in such a good position he can start to afford, okay, so now I need to just protect myself against anything else, anything that could possibly happen. So it also potentially just increase his own force multiplying abilities. So getting an MLRS on the field will be useful, especially in taking Bravo. HQ61 probably going to start building up an AA net in case LK Ninja tries to spam sabers or something.
F1, probably F1 spam is what he's probably anticipating.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, Sanchez are just.
But yeah, this game is over.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo. It looks like this goes on for a considerably long.
It's basically over at this point. You can't
just
say
more of Cuck's not getting command units and just.
Well, that's not exactly a mistake though, because at this point he has such a. He basically can. Well, I mean, I say that. Ninja's making efforts. He's making moves to go back into golf.
We got another Q-Maru out here.
Right. But yeah, it's going to be really tough for LQ Ninja because Cox has almost completely taken Foxtrot. All he needs to do is like consolidate a little bit more.
The Tansam does snipe the ATG.
That's good.
That's good for him.
So one important thing actually that is really preventing Cox 90 from completely locking this game down is the fact that China doesn't have any ATG entry. If he had got a couple of ATGMs into those little
either of these towns. Any of these
Not
towns.
either of those towns, or at the very edge of Foxtrot, he will literally just be able to rain ATGMs down the reinforcement road and prevent really
Kyumaro's...
prevent Ninja from doing anything before he takes care of
Oh, does he
Foxtrot.
Zanshi kill a Kyumaro? Oh no, it's gonna...
Well,
It's the
it's
Kyumaro
running
out
out
of
of gas.
Gassy!
It's running out of gas.
What a surprise here! This is why when using a Kyumaro, like, aggressive use, you always want to have a supply truck following it.
Yes.
It's about
You
the only way.
well that, and he also has a couple of Chugata cargoes just sitting as 2 point. I think he forgot about that.
No, he's
So
got
now
three
he
of them
has
coming. Everything's gonna be nice and fueled up, and
right, but now I mean Foxtrot is, like I said, completely in Cook's control. He's losing Bravo too, which
Bravo's
is
about to be overrun as well.
yeah. At this point, it actually is overrun. It's going to be very difficult for LK Ninja to be able to retake that, especially with Lead Gen and entrenched like that.
Aggressive
He's
Kyumaro
making
right
very, very aggressive. But yep, JH7 loses line of sight. Kimaru is forced to retreat.
there.
UBE are just there to buy time.
They're just speed bumps.
Yeah. The Legion, they're gonna get cut down by the Kute. They were not on attack move, so that was painful. But he now has a ZBZ88A. Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
If he micros his ETZ-88A, it should just wipe out all this infantry.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
that you got a cargo.
That's what you gotta. Oh,
Oh no. Oh my god.
that tank CV kill. That should not have happened. LK Ninja should not have let that.
Oh.
Just painful. Oh, Nanayashi. Yeah, that's. How much is that? It's like 130 points, right?
Yeah, and it's a paper mache tank.
Hit the info tab real quick.
Yikes,
Jesus,
125.
6 armor, 1 top armor,
One top armor.
125.
Shit, you have 120 point motorized command.
I just don't know about that.
Maybe infantry would have been a better call back there, but like...
I will say, oh, that Kyumaro, it's actually surrounded now.
It's a ballsy Kyumaro. It's about to get ass shot here. Oh, that's a side shot.
That was either a side shot or a butt shot.
Yeah,
Ooh, Honguhan, that I don't know about that.
Oh no, behind
Yeah, LK Ninja can.
You are in the wrong neighborhood, and they are in a combat hole.
Ooh, and Legion. Oh yeah, they're dead. Yeah.
Wrong neighborhood. They're dead. So that is he has lost. Yeah, he lost way too many points to come back from that. There's just
Yeah. Also buying CVs at the wrong time. I mean, he had the right idea. In trying to repush into golf, retake that little bottom part, and then potentially start doing stuff from there. Just the problem was he was wiped from literally everywhere else. And yeah, not much more to say. No,
a
nuclear
map
win.
change. Nuclear winner. Yeah, that's a good one.
Interesting.
This map really encourages lots of cheese. Particularly if you're not astute and paying attention, you can lose your Bravo command point without even realizing it.
Do you need me to get Razman in here just to be able to defend himself from your baseless slander?
Baseless slander. That was the most entertaining game I've watched in a long time. We watched a Scandinavian deck play competitively.
The only reason that ever happened, Razman was not lucky, right?
Yeah,
Razman never loses because he is unskilled. It's only because he's always unlucky.
Fun fact, the guy who has been played in that video beat the living hell out of me last night in ranked.
Well,
It was not
okay.
fun. I mean, it's not hard. It's like kicking a small child, but
yeah, pretty much. So this map, Finwolf versus Gnome. Finwolf.
yeah, Finwolf versus Gnome Chomsky. And that's a lot of command units.
3 command stars.
Expecting
That's
cheese?
ambitious.
It's a bold
That's
strategy.
pretty ambitious.
Let's see how it plays out for them.
Yeah. Typically how this map plays out is usually the top spawn, the red spawn, tries to push into alpha, while echo spawn tries to push into India. And then delta is anyone's game, although I find delta to be better from red spawn than blue spawn, just because it looks like it would be better for blue spawn, but that's actually wrong.
You get into the town faster.
But the thing is, it's it's really easy for red to actually take the edge of the Delta Town because if you look closely at it, it's just this wide, long string of stuff, right? So it's really easy to get fire support firing into the edge there. Whereas from the other side, it's really hard.
And red has easy access to all the forests over here. They could sneak through, and
Yeah, and once you get in there, it just becomes a nightmare to
it's like
drive
getting
them
rid of
out.
cancer, and you can't get rid of cancer. The new mandarins. It's is
Is
this
that a
like
reference to something?
is this like the Emperor's New Groove? Yeah, we got triple CB.
Ooh, solo TY90. I'm not sure about that. Just because the
Against the
TY90 has bad
ninja.
op. Yeah,
Oh,
the ninjas.
ninja got the first shot off. Oh
Yeah.
my! Oh
Oh,
wow!
yep, yep.
Ninja got RNG'd. That is a
Honestly, if the ninja was microed off to the side and then came in from the side, the TY90 would not have been. Oh, but yeah, see what we have here, Noam
whoa
Chomsky
whoa
dropping
whoa.
into alpha. It actually looks like Finwolf is completely neglecting his two-pointer. And he's sending a CV there. Oh,
What?
that's
It's gonna land, or the Z9s are gonna kill it like immediately. Oh, the Z9s see it.
okay.
Okay, he sees the
All right.
Z9s. Oh, he's gonna. Oh, there's a panic gun tank is coming out.
Gun tank versus Z9s is excessive.
Yeah.
And a big problem what we see here is that Finwolf has overinvested into
Oh,
the
it's one
central
health.
zone.
It's one
Well,
health.
yeah, I think it might actually get out somehow, but
It is. I
yeah.
think it's gonna drop him off in Delta.
And I think the most important thing that Finwolf is missing, look at what's happening on the left side, or more specifically, what's not happening on the
He's not
left side.
pushing.
Yeah,
He's not
he's
pushing.
probing right now, but I don't think he realizes
Well,
that
China
Noam
has
Chomsky
no ATGM, so it can't aerial area deny you.
well, ish. There's no
Ish.
infantry. They do have the WZ 550, but I haven't seen one of those in the. No, I have seen. I think I've seen one of them in the tournament.
I
I don't
used
remember if
one,
it's
I
in a game
think,
we've
in one of
tested
my
yet,
games.
but it's the best ATGM that China has, and it's not bad. It's just not
Good.
superb.
And for 60 points and like 2,800 meters range, like you kind of expect more
Oh,
bang for your
it's
buck.
3,000 meters or 2,975
Yeah,
if you
okay,
want to get
it's like 2,900.
26 AP. It's a good carrier. It has wheels. I think it has even two armor, and I think it has six, eight onboard missiles for 80
So
points. Not a bad
the
deal.
red player already has pretty much accomplished his goals here, but Delta's
Yes,
gonna be hard.
it actually isn't. Not for red. All he has to do is contain him in Delta, hold on to India, which at this point the biggest missed opportunity here was Finn Wolf not pushing sooner. Like he's pushing now, credit where credit is due. He's doing that now, but it's too late. And he is also sequencing his push wrong because there's rarely nothing in the area, and those WAPCs are going to get wiped by Liu Jianbei. The Xiuju
Okay.
Buntai are going to get killed by the
But he has no other
ZTB
recon
62s.
other than the Hachidan Shiki, which is about to die.
Yeah, and the
So,
Nanion Shiki G is just left floundering and without targets. Meanwhile, Noam Chomsky has a very solid lead in
he's
the 2 point,
pushing
and
Bravo,
it's
or
pushing
probing
the
Bravo.
Bravo spawn.
Yeah, probably in
That's
the Bravo spot.
yeah, that's painful.
And it's still got some cheese over here getting wound up. Are they going to try to
Yeah, and
kill that Han
he
Bob?
forced Finwolf to buy out three squads of Kute.
It's
That's
expensive.
nearly that's
100 to
around 135 points.
130 points, depending on what transports you take.
135 points.
Yeah, that's a
He's
lot.
taking the Kyogoku. That's a lot
Ooh.
of points.
Ooh, yeah. And it's about to get killed. No. Yep. Yikes.
Yeah.
So not only is
So
this
one
Bravo getting threatened, he's not in a great position right now.
Yeah, it's very common to see people try, well, I guess less experienced players try to push the central zone of this map. The problem with the center zone is exactly what's happening now, from this side at least. It's very, very easy for Red to just contain him. Like, yeah, sure, Japan can occupy the forest in the top part of the sector. He can just infest the big city area and the forest area, but he can't push from there.
Hmm.
He is he has put himself in a concave, which is not exactly an advantageous position
Yeah,
for anyone who's ever played
because
StarCraft or
these
literally any
these
other real-time strategy game.
these recon see all his reinforcements, and they're all being cut off right now. So he's just gonna
I don't know if he
strangle
sees
one.
all the reinforcements, but yeah, it's very, very tenuous for him in Delta. At this point, Finwolf has already lost Delta. All the units that he has in there are already dead. They just don't realize it yet.
Nani?
Oh, God, not again. I did it again.
Oof. Yeah. SK gets an easy kill on the F1 there.
Yeah.
Not much more to write about there. We got some more probing going on, but now he doesn't even have the Shiki-G won't even be able to spot the ZTQ. And the ZTQ is going to kill the Hachi Nanashiki before the Hachi Nanashiki can even blink.
Yeah,
Unless he
really need
throws
to get
away
some
here.
JST Rangers in there just to be able to see things.
I love spamming JSTF Rangers. Turn off their DMR and you just have them everywhere. And it's basically all you can do with them. The downside is they're expensive and they have a law, and I hate them.
Yeah, fucking 13 AP.
It's
What a
depression.
nice game.
It's just depression.
It really is. Insert joke about Japanese stock market crash here. Oh, and some.
It's because they invested in laws. You don't invest in laws. They'll always give you down.
Never buy American. What? What?
Oh, I have stories from working at GM.
Oh, you're gonna tell me about those later. Anyway,
Why are there
so
beer bottles in the door cards? Hmm.
okay, but yeah, see now, yeah, now that Delta has been cut off, Red can basically push into that small forest at the top at his leisure, build up some fire support, push into
And he's
Delta,
ticking
and
plus three.
then
He just gave up.
yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Uh,
From that position,
he was just about to
Chomsky
put
had
on his salt and pepper mixtape.
yeah, Chomsky had a commanding position from there. Going to be tough for him to really get back in there. So GG from Finwolf. Uh, just made a bad strategic call,
Good
devoting
idea,
half of
poor
his.
execution.
No, the idea itself was bad. He sent half of his entire deployment to a zone that let himself be cut off without him even realizing it.
Oh, and we
All
have
right.
the final match in the round two as the battle of the really questionable streamers. Myself versus Xander and Taylor.
Oh my God.
Fun fact,
Oh.
this is my third game ever as playing as China.
Oh my God. Oh my
So
God.
it is as terrible as you expect. Uh,
No, I suspect it's going to be worse, actually.
it's probably
Christ.
worse than what you expect, but it's very entertaining viewing. So this is someone who has very little knowledge of playing China. I never had really cared before this, and then I was like, oh shit, I might actually have to play China. So I played around with it like the week before, and still, the unit selection and the deck choices obviously need some tweaking because I didn't know they made it with China. Like I needed the Lijian, the base Lijian. It needs a lot of work. But we're gonna.
You need a lot of work, to be
I,
honest.
mental, psychological, emotional. I am a complete train wreck.
Yes, it is easily transmitted in the tone of your constantly, and the fact that you drink a lot. In fact, mostly just
I
that.
don't drink a lot as I take
Uh
another
huh.
drink of my delicious vodka tonic, sponsored by
Uh
Kroger.
huh.
Kiwi strawberry sparkling water mixed with Kirkland brand vodka.
Oh,
It's
is that what you're doing?
it's Costco, a half gallon of vodka for $16, and it tastes like Grey Goose because it's made out of an old Grey Goose distillery.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so we have the opener. We don't have any MLRS on the opener because that would be dumb. F105J Ryu. I guess the idea is to
So
be a
so
Kilo Hunter opener.
I dropped off the command unit back there, and so he thinks he's getting a command unit here, but he's not. We'll never get this. La 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 la
Oh my
la.
God.
So he's
Oh my
probably
God.
very excited.
Outplayed.
Yeah, mind
Outplayed.
games tactically outplayed.
Alright, so the ninja sees nothing. Humvee, short arrow, not Shinamashiki. I expect at least one Kyumaru Shiki, and yeah, there's one there. Okay. Not the sun. China's.
He's smoking.
So far, so relatively standard. Alright, Xander. Xander was able to take that middle town between Echo and.
And you also notice
That's
how
very, very good.
I have very little recon out here or anything because
You have literally nothing out there. Which Xander is about to find out very soon. Yeah, it seems that the pathing can sometimes be a little bit wonky, so now the Humvee might just stumble upon a very, very juicy. Speaking of CVs, you are calling out another CV right now, which is
really, really bad idea. And I realized this in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Xander's confused.
BM24 in the opener. I mean, not terrible. They're only 50 points. Just,
I thought it was going to be more effective than it actually was. And
you really need to get a few of them before they actually start to do anything
Correct.
worth anything.
It might just spook or scare us. So the first engagement's going on here, and the Kyumaru Shiki is doing Kyumaru Shiki things, and it's almost already out of gas.
Well,
that's just
one thing I've noticed Xander do a lot is that he bunches up units intensely, as you can see right there.
Oh yeah,
that's
a spicy BM24.
Yep. Yeah, that is the risk, and now all of Xander's shit is going to die because it's all panicked because of that single MLRS. I was about to say either a bomber or MLRS, something like that, and now, yeah, he's just getting surrounded, he's gonna get destroyed fairly easily. Kyumaru is coming in to try and help, but there's not much it can do at this point besides pick off overextended Joshi squads. So, alright, nothing really happening going on the right. Both of you guys have settled into defensive postures, as is typical on this map.
But at this point, I realized, I was like, huh, he's backing his Kyumaru up because he's got nothing in front of him.
Yeah. Potentially, it might have been a better idea for him to just leave his Q out there just a little bit longer to dissuade you from pushing. Because he lost all of his infantry trying to push into Delta. So he did lose, well, okay, I should say he did lose all of his infantry, but your infantry is still a little ways to go before it gets into danger range for his Kyumaru. So he could have popped in and out, potentially tried to get some free shots at any infantry that decided to try and push up farther than they were able to be supported. Alright, so maybe this is a bit of a long replay, so maybe bump up to 3 times speed?
Oh, 4. I will exceed your expectations
for
the first time.
Whoa. But what if I don't want you to exceed my expectations?
Well, you just gotta do with it.
Oh,
don't worry, your expectations will quickly be crushed with this game.
Alright, I'm looking forward to it? Question mark?
See, Xander knows though. He's got Chugata cargoes waiting for his Kyumaru. Knows it's going out of gas.
Bombers in and out for either side, but China has better bombers. They also have a shitty laser-guided bomb, but they also have one better cheap, I call them Schnell bombers, even though they're technically not. Well, they actually might be considered Schnell bombers in terms of operational concept, but whatever. Basically, it's a cheap, fast bomber that can get in, deliver its payload, rearm quickly, repair quickly, and then get back into it. That's the specialty of the J7. Yeah.
But I did push over here, and he's got like nothing over here.
Yeah. And honestly, Echo, for Xander's side, it's really tough to defend. You have that really nice defensive position up in the upper left, that little town area, and once he gets pushed back to the edge of the plateau, the way that terrain line of sight works
as well. I
ironically,
smoke and the right clicked on the unit, so
yeah, that was painful for him, and now it's moving back around, trying to line up another run, but yeah, not great for him.
Double F1s.
Yeah. Actually, no, Ashiki has no ammo. He has to pull back. And see, now that he's back high ground, it's really hard to push back in.
It's
Because,
impossible most times.
ironically, in certain situations, being forced back onto the high ground is actually a disadvantage. At least in this game.
So Star Wars doesn't hold true.
Uh, fuck you.
Whoa,
Never bring that up again.
this is a children's show.
Children's show. So
Actually, no. No children.
you want to
should
run that
watch
by me again?
No children should watch this. They might get cancer.
No. Oh, they definitely will get cancer. For all the fucking vodka that they'll be implored to drink because you're
Drink
shilling out
Stolcea.
gallons
It's good for
upon
you,
gallons of vodka.
I don't drink gallons of vodka. You make me
At
seem to be this alcoholic monster.
Ooh, okay. So Giggs just lost his 85-3 to Kimaru at close range. Yeah,
Yeah, just
that-
Kiyomaru things.
pretty much. Kimaru in heavy tank versus Kimaru engagements, the Kimaru actually wants to engage at close range because of its
Autoloader
incredible
is
autoloader.
disgusting.
Yeah, it will
Especially
always
in
get
that
2
field,
shots
too.
before the enemy. Yeah,
Especially in
It
that
might
field.
take
It's
one shot.
disgusting.
yeah. And against the 85-3, which has 7 runs per minute, there's no question what's going to happen.
But it's out of gas again.
Well, big surprise there.
But I am ticking +2, which will pay dividends in the long run here.
Yeah, it's Xander's on the back foot because in terms of material, he has slightly less, but he has been letting Giggs, which is to say my drunk co-host over here, tick for a long time. So now Giggs has
about to
almost a
get
200-point
worse.
advantage over him. That's going to be tough to overcome, especially since Xander is trying to counter with his own CVs instead of building up a large sort of counter-pushing force.
We're just
At
about
this point-
halfway through this cancer too, so there's more.
Right. At this point, I really feel that Xander should try and get more Kiyomaru Shikis on the field. In our last cast, I brought up the fact that the Kiyomaru Shiki is the Japanese win condition, and it really needs to be able to exploit its high rate of fire and its high AP value to deal with China. Because if it can't do that, Japan loses.
Yeah, but
Simple as that.
the problem is it's also either out of gas or out of ammo.
Yeah, that.
And I almost kill it there.
Nah, you can't kill it from the front with a JH7 unless it's been damaged. And I think damaged by 3 or 4 HP. So I don't think you would have been able to kill it, but you definitely forced it off, which is
We got some
Good
sneaky
enough.
JH7 cheese going on over here, but this one.
sneaky J7 cheese. You mean, if you mean that it's getting cheesed by the ninja, then yeah, I agree.
Don't talk.
Spoopy.
Oh yeah. I'm
Oh,
actually
it-
playing the game here.
Oh,
Just
is
kidding. Nope. Just kidding. It wasn't what I thought it was.
there was an attempt? Oh, but
Was
that Xander actually pushing back into Echo. Giggs
getting a little
Giggs getting a bit
overconfident.
complacent. Yeah, getting a bit complacent there, not
I
not
completely
consolidating
didn't
when he had a
consolidate,
chance. Yeah, and now that you see the problem, you panic buy recon tanks and stuff, but they're out of position, and now they're just going to
And this
feed one
ninja's
by one.
just doing ninja things in the back of my lines.
Just being ninja.
Japan.
Oh, so ninja.
Or ninjas. And then this is another good fight that shows fire support. You gotta move across the house on Chikis because I have fire support and they're getting shredded.
And ZST-63Cs, they're not fantastic, but
Yeah, they're
I mean,
kinda crappy.
look what they're fucking doing to those 2 Shoji Buntai in the open. Not
Now he's got fire support, so it's good.
right. But
Now, these
now-
Red gets so close. To my
oh my
Canadian.
god. Oh,
This is all, yeah, this is not good. Some panic mortars here.
oh, but that other ZTQ is in a really good spot actually.
Yeah, they're trying to shoot at it when they're shaking, so they're
Yeah.
shook.
So shook. Ninja's just hanging out by Gig's base. I think Xander's idea is just to spot any Oh, it's out of gas.
Yeah, it's out of gas. So,
The
so
memes. The out of
record
gas
scratch.
memes.
You might have wondered how I got here. That's me.
That is a
But
very
wait,
awkward position for a
there's
ninja to
more.
be in. Oh
So
man.
now you have a 90-point thing just sitting there.
Big thing. Well, at least he has exceptional optics on your Earthspawn, so
Yeah.
there's that at least. Can ooh.
Not a great trade, but I
Yeah, that's honestly a pretty good trade because I don't think
did.
you bought that J7 specifically for that, so I
No,
think it paid off.
that J7 was going to try to snipe a command unit.
Well, I mean, at least you got a short arrow out of it.
And so
No, not short arrow, close arrow. I don't fucking an arrow. One of the fucking.
that was the longer arrow, the bigger arrow.
There's the Japan doesn't have any long arrows.
It has two of them. The short range one was just a humble.
It has the short arrow and the closed arrow.
Stingers too, and
Like all of those are really short range. Are you not getting the joke here?
I am. So yeah, I missed the Hayate. Sad.
Well, yeah, because you only have one.
Yep.
At that point, if you wanted to try and like CV snipe.
But I do know.
Oh
I know what it is.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Ooh, losing that J7 though, that was a little painful.
It hurts, but it's China. There's like 20 more of them.
This is also true.
That's the thing with China. You can plane train people pretty good.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, which is it's a complete nuisance. And then we got the classic drive down the middle of the road.
Well, but Xander stopped, and I'm honestly not sure why he should have just fast moved all the way to your
I don't know. I think
maybe he assumed you were more competent than you are.
that's probably what he did. I mean, I don't know. Like this game is gonna get to the point where it should probably go in private purgatory.
Well, that remains to be seen at this point.
It's
Ooh, Xander pushing up his IF. Oh, obviously not a great idea. And just we see this back and forth going forever, right?
counter push going on over here.
Yeah, this is just more of an illustration of a point that I brought up in our last cast, how, you know, one player, he wins, he pushes out, he gets his units into forward positions, but then he gets a little complacent, doesn't reinforce, doesn't repair, and then the enemy...
So,
okay, well, there
got
we go.
another one of Xander's command units, and I'm about to take the second one.
Right. But yeah, just there's an ebb and flow to fights, and if you can't like preempt it and force the engagements into your favor, you will find yourself having to fight over the same piece of ground over and over and over.
But he did kill my command unit over here.
Wait, what's going on? What the fuck is happening?
We traded.
What the fuck? Is he just driving a fucking Nanayan Shiki right
everywhere.
What the fuck is going on?
I got distracted and I lost control and my ADD kicked in.
When does your ADD not kick in?
That's the real question. And the entire Japanese army comes to kill this recon squad, which does pretty good for themselves.
Well, I mean, he did his job. They just followed orders sufficiently.
I was just following orders. But 7 minutes left. I'm up 260 points.
Yeah, at this point, Xander, he needs a bit of a miracle. He does not have. I do not think he has enough points or material.
I also sniped his other command unit here.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough points or material to actually. Because at this point, he needs like a +3, +4 even to really be able to take a draw out of this.
The moral of this story is Chinese human waves. Very effective. Loses an AH1 there to Lu Zhendao.
Oh my fucking god, just kill me now. Kill me now so I don't have to listen to Gigs fucking butchering Chinese.
I'm sorry. Oh, that Hachinashiki barely misses the command.
How have you not? Oh, you actually have learned by now. Okay, I guess that's fair.
Is it?
Kimaru Shiki. What energy is that Kimaru by now? It should be pretty high.
You know,
Yeah,
it's elite, but it's also out of ammo.
it's the
So
same one. Yeah, it's the same
it,
one. So it's been doing a lot of good work.
and then
The
laser
only
down
problem,
is
yeah, the only problem was that its its contribution was over the entire game, right? But it wasn't able to make any really. It wasn't able to enable any decisive pushes, like out to like push you completely out of Delta or something. So I mean, Xander got Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
it's so bad.
Literally just fucking just park a recon tank everywhere and stop letting that happen.
I know, I know. This is
You
someone
say
who
you know.
doesn't know how to play China.
You
Like,
say you know. BM24 does nothing,
nothing.
predictably.
It didn't even.
OH1 Ninja. I love how the ninja's filling out by your base. The
I
Comanche pilots are just like, I don't know what we do.